Yo, so this is a clip from a much larger video about the fall 2024 anime season. I suggest you check it out because I talk about a variety of shows, and I cover a lot of topics on that. It's pretty fun. Solo Leveling was part of that video despite it coming out in the winter 2024 season because I got it as a comment suggestion and the recap movie aired in that season. That's the context. If you don't care about the announcement, then you could skip to the timestamp, but if you do care, I'm going to be making another seasonal anime video for the winter 2025 season. If there's a show from the winter 2025 season you want me to cover, please comment your suggestion in the comments of this video. The criteria is pretty simple. 1, it has to be airing in the winter 2025 season, and 2, it can't be a sequel like Dr. Stone's Science Future. That's the 4th season, so I won't be taking that one. This is just so I get fresh new anime. Nothing against those shows with second seasons. You have up until the 25th of January to submit your suggestion. If you do not follow the 3 guidelines of it airing in the winter 25 season, not being a sequel, and submitting your comment after January 25th, your comment will not be considered at all. If I don't get enough comment suggestions, then I'll just pick randomly again like I did last season. Anyway, that's it. I really appreciate your suggestions. Now, here's the clip. So finally we get to Solo Leveling. Shoutouts to Jared for being the only person who commented on my YouTube post. So I will be talking about that. And I actually liked the show. It was pretty good. It's so funny to think that the show is basically a mix of Sword Art Online and Goblin Slayer. Depending on your thoughts on those shows, that's either the worst thing you've ever heard in your life or the greatest compliment to this show. For me, it's basically 2 wrongs make a right. And I can see why it's popular. Conceptually, it's very intriguing. This dude got reincarnated, and it's in a world where people do raids and shit like it's a video game. So, oh, it's like a video game. My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage. You can relate to it because you're also a gamer. A little bit about the story, I guess. So this dude is a guy who gets fucked up by even the lowest level monsters, and then he gets revived, and he's able to level up, which apparently wasn't a thing in this universe. Which is so dumb. How it basically works is that in this universe, you're basically assigned how good you would be at fighting all the fucking monsters or whatever that are invading the world. Like this chick, she's S tier, but most people would be like D tier or C tier, right? You could gain skills, but you can't really get more strong. You can only gain skill laterally, you know what I mean? You could just gain more skills to fight the things that are at your level. And that's so stupid because our main character guy, he's assigned E tier, so he's just pure dog shit at fighting. So I don't understand why he would just keep doing this. His justification is that he could get stones to sell for money so that he could pay for his sister's college. Also, he wants to get this elixir of life because his mom is sick and he thinks that'll cure his mom's disease. Instead of risking his life before he got reincarnated as a bottom bitch E tier, instead of doing that shit, he could have went to college and become a fucking medical researcher, get loads of money so he could get his sister through college and he could help cure the disease his mom had instead of fucking risking his life all the time being a fucking shitty little fucking E tier. But whatever, it doesn't matter anymore because he can reincarnate and now he can actually fight these monsters that were kicking his ass time and time before and, you know, reap the rewards of fighting these higher level things because beforehand he couldn't afford anything because he just did shitty little missions that gave nothing basically and barely survived off that. So whatever, it's all good now. He can level up and become strong. It is really cool seeing him get stronger and fight these stronger and stronger monsters. It's very satisfying seeing him go through the progression of the show, and he has to actually work for it. He doesn't just fucking walk through these enemies. They actually do kind of kick his ass, and it really does feel like he earns the XP and levels that he gets from fighting all these monsters. I like this one bit that they did where if he doesn't do his daily quest of working out, he has to survive these centipede monsters. So it gives him an incentive to actually work on his physical form without it just being, oh, you get fucking XP points from this, even though those are very helpful for him, right? Oh yeah, he also gets special items from it, which which are very useful. I like how he does actual gamer shit by putting it into strength, making a strength build for himself, which is a smart thing to do because a lot of the times in these scenarios in games, ability points are a rare resource, right? So it's better to specialize into one thing so you can make the most of your strengths. But also because doing strength builds is cool. A lot of the time in like Dark Souls and shit, I always go for strength builds. So he's just like me for real, dude. It is kind of cringe how he's like, I want to be strong, so I'm gonna put in strength because I was weak before. Whatever. It's a net positive. It's more cool than it is bad. I also like the look of these menus a lot. I get the impression that these are inspired by the new Zelda games. I'm not crazy for thinking this, right? The font feels the same. It's very blue like the Breath of the Wild menus. And I love it because Breath of the Wild is my favorite open world game, so fucking copy that shit as much as you want. I don't care. Yeah, see how much the inventory looks the same as Zelda with the simplified icons there. This section is literally like, oh, it's just like Dark Souls. But whatever, it's cool. I like how it seems very inspired by shit like Zelda or whatever MMO game or RPG. I really enjoy the fact that there were aspects of the show that feel very inspired by video games in real life. You get a sense of the creator actually caring about their product by putting in elements that are from things that they probably really enjoy a lot. Like how weapons and this shit break really easily like how they do in Zelda, which is kind of annoying in Zelda, but it's a cool little detail that doesn't really come up again, but it's cool regardless. One thing I don't really like about this show that much is that it can be a bit overly edgy. There's so much of, life is unfair, I'm so fucking weak, I'm gonna fucking die. There's this bit of, oh, you can't fucking trust anyone, people are so selfish. I feel like there's a lot of edgy or dark shows that touch upon this kind of thing. I think it's just sort of overdone. I kind of rolled my eyes at this because I've seen this shit like a million times. It's not really that cool to me anymore. I kind of like the edge from our main guy here. You stupid hypocrite! This dude can be so fucking intense in his delivery that it actually made me uncomfortable a few times. So kudos to whoever voices our main dude. He actually did a really good job, even though it can a bit much and a bit corny at times. The show actually does a good job of retaining your attention. Like, you get introduced to some characters who will probably be more fleshed out later in the story, whether it be in the manhwa or in the next season if that comes out, I don't know. He also has this goal of making this elixir of life to save his mom, right? So there's a lot of intrigue throughout the show that I feel like keeps it engaging for its entire runtime. I had fun watching it, and the animation was actually fairly solid too. It's not the best out there. I'd rather watch a Trigger show or a Bone show, but I'd say the animation holds up decently well for the most part. Thank you for Jared for being the only person who actually gave me a suggestion. This show was pretty solid. It really retained my attention. I will watch season 2 or read the manhwa whenever I get the chance to, or whenever season 2 comes out. So yeah, pretty cool stuff.